Hi, I'm Markie.
And I'm Andrew.
And this is the Happy Everly After podcast. Hey, and welcome to the Happy Everly After podcast. My name is Markie, and I am doing another solo today. I am going to give you guys a ketamine treatment update. So I wanted to record this last night because my treatment was last night, and I kind of wanted to just in theory, I wanted to gather up all my information that I had just gotten in my brain and spit it out here for the podcast. And I thought that maybe that would be like a really nice way to decompress. But I learned that every time you go in for a ketamine treatment, the dosage goes up just a tiny bit every time. And I don't know if you guys listened to the last ketamine episode, but I talked about how I had family in town. They were in town for a soccer tournament, and I literally got so randomly sick, and I threw up underneath a tree at my nephew's soccer game, and it was horrifying and embarrassing. And whoever that person was that approached me and asked me if I needed anything or I needed water, you're an angel and I love you. I was okay, but I was just extremely nauseous and not to get too graphic, but it was like the big D, and I'm not talking Dallas. It was that and throw up for a solid 8 or 10 hours. I was hugging my toilet. So that was so fun for me for that day. But that day, so the soccer game was at 8 in the morning. I had a ketamine treatment at 3:30 or something like that. And so I ended up calling and I was like, I'm already really nauseous. And that's the thing you should know with ketamine is it does make people nauseous. I haven't gotten super nauseous, but I have explained this in another episode where it's so motiony, the images that you see in your mind, it never stops moving. So I just compare it to car sickness, honestly. When you get there, they give you a dissolvable Zofran. So that's well in your system for, 15, 20 minutes before you even get the ketamine dose. So I've been fine. I've never thrown up on it. But if you're throwing up and you're sick, I can't, I'm not in the right headspace. My stomach is woozy. I don't want to freaking just go get high off this drug, And so I had to cancel that appointment. And that appointment, it's so sad, but that was a solid 3 weeks ago. Time freaking flies. We've done so much since then. Boys have started school. Drew and I went to Mexico for a couple days. Just a lot of stuff going on. And so I'm kind of bummed because I'm that should have been, I really wanted to do the ketamine. They recommend 6 at a time. That's a series of it. And I really wanted to do it back to back kind of, but that kind of interrupted that. So I actually have the next 2 ketamine treatments scheduled out, and I went last night. So at least the next 3 weeks I have to be on schedule. So yeah, yesterday was a good day. I had my post-op appointment for my mommy makeover. It was my 3-month appointment. I can't believe it's been 3 months. That's crazy. I am doing a couple revisions, so which is normal. I feel people don't really they talk about the before and after, but they don't really talk about the in between. So I have these random bumps on the sides of my hips where the line is the tummy tuck line, and it's actually really common there's a disgusting name for it. It's so bad. Are you ready for it? It's called dog ears. So those dog ears are very, very common, and it's basically just because my surgeon was trying to keep the line, like the scar, really small. And so it basically just like created this like kind of like a bump of like skin or like tissue or fat that kind of like hangs over the end of the scar a little bit. So I have that on both sides, and that was like a huge concern for me. But I talked with my surgeon about it, and he was like, it's not uncommon. He was like, that's basically just because I was trying to get you a really small scar. And so, like, I appreciated that effort. I appreciated his like accountability and stuff. But that is something I'm doing in my future where I will have to go back under and get those revised. Is that right? Not revived, revised. That's terrible. So they're doing that, and that was good. So the appointment was good, and that's what I did earlier in my day. And then I came home. I got my cozy blanket. I always take my Lola blanket. I know this kind of sounds like an ad, but it's not, only because I have a code for it. But I have this blanket that it's low-key kind of like the other really luxurious blankets that are out there, which are amazing. And I have 17,000. I literally have like maybe 6 or 7 of those blankets, and I love them. The difference between those blankets and this blanket is it's just as soft, but it has like spandexy material in it. So the spandex like helps it to stretch a little bit, and it is like, if I was a freaking caterpillar and cocooning, this is a blanket I would want to cocoon in and become a butterfly. So, anyways, that's Lola blankets. I have a code for that. I'll put it in the show notes and stuff. But, yeah, I took that. Drew dropped me off. It is a drug, you guys. Like, you feel woozy after. Like, it's kind of like coming out of anesthesia, and they do use ketamine for anesthesia. So, like, a lot of you have had ketamine, you just don't remember it because you were asleep for surgery. But that's kind of how you feel, is like coming out of a surgery where you're like, I kind of feel out of it. I feel a little silly and woozy, but like, I'm fine. Like, I'm me. I'm here. I know why I'm here. You know, that type of thing. But because of that, they don't let you drive yourself home. You have to be checked out by a caregiver. So Drew was my caregiver. My mom was my caregiver before. She didn't sit in the room with me. She was busy like watching the kids and stuff. Drew was out of town. But yeah, the boys just picked me up, and I just was kind of quiet after. I don't really say much after. And again, I wanted to come home and immediately do this podcast, but I just wasn't feeling it. Like, I was just too tired. I remember the first time I did a ketamine treatment, I didn't talk to Drew about it for like 2 or 3 days, which is weird because Drew knows literally all my inner thoughts ever. And he's like my safe place to like bounce all my crazy shit onto. He's just the best. But with ketamine, like I found that it's kind of taken me a couple days to like sit on it for a minute, I guess, which is weird for me. But yeah, so that's kind of the before and after. Is you get dropped off. I take my own like eye mask, because with my Wink Click like eyelash extensions or eyelash strips I have on, I have like the nice eye mask that like you can blink and it doesn't, like, you're not rubbing against the thing. So I take that. I take my headphones. They have like awesome playlists that you can choose from, but I've kind of just gone with the playlist that they recommend. So I just like scan a little code on my phone. I put my phone on airplane mode, and then as soon as they inject the ketamine, it's my job to kind of like sit there and like, okay, is it happening? Okay, I feel it. And if you were to ask me like, what do you feel like when it's coming on? I just feel like my eyes get a little bit like spacier and just like, okay, like maybe I'm feeling a little tired, or I don't know, not as like smooth, I guess, in my eyeballs. So that's when I know to press play on the Spotify playlist that I had gotten turned on. And then I just sit back, relax, and I put the eye mask on my eyes. I have my noise canceling headphones in. I got my Lola blanket. I'm like so comfortable, so cozy, and I literally just lay there. I can wiggle my toes, I can wiggle my fingers. I'm still here, but for whatever reason, my eyes and my brain start seeing a cinematic piece of art. That's the only way I can describe it. I don't know how else to describe it other than it's just cinematic, like I'm in a movie, and it's just the first episode I talked about how it was like Black Panther and just like textured. I literally wrote in my journal texture because I was like, everything is so textured and it's like armor and like, yeah, like spikes and stuff, but like Legos and just like building on each other, and just like picture like a Black Panther movie, and like how did they come up with the spaceship? These people came up with that because they were doing drugs, literally. So, I mean, I don't really know that. I'm just saying, like, that's like what my brain in the now like relates it to. Okay, so I'm gonna read to you what I wrote in my journal. Dang, I've gotten further in my journal than I thought I did. Look at me. Okay, that was last time. Okay, this is this time. So I wrote ketamine number 3. And then I wrote my intentions down, which I also write on the little whiteboard. So if you ever get like lost or you're like confused or like what's going on, you can like open your little eye mask and be like, and you can like focus on your intentions and like why you're there. So my intentions were, please help me find the root cause of my depression, because that's literally why I'm doing ketamine treatments. Find me clarity. Like I just want clarity. Like somebody show me and teach me what I'm not understanding, because obviously I'm not understanding something and not taking care of myself because of it. Like I want clarity on what I need to learn and grow. Okay, and then show me how to heal and overcome my mental illness. So this is I was basically giving myself permission to not like, I never want to be a victim or a martyr or like a survivor. Sure, cool. But like, show me how to heal and overcome this mental illness that's in my brain. Like, what is causing the depression? Please show me what it is with clarity so that I know going in, and then show me how to heal from this so that I don't freaking get so depressed every single year around this time, and it's just so hard. Okay, so this is what I wrote after my session. So I put my journal away, and then when I was like waking up, they like come check on you and stuff, obviously, but they leave you alone to kind of just like be there with your mind, and like you're waiting on your caregiver. So like I'm waiting on Drew to come pick me up, and I'm just in this quiet, relaxed room. All I really have is my thoughts and my journal. And so I whip out my journal and I wrote, after, I feel authoritative. I barely remember writing this, legit. I feel like I clocked in for work. You go there, and you go there, chop, chop. That's interesting for me. Okay, then I wrote, I feel in charge of all the machines. What machines? I must have been looking at machines, which I remember the machines, but like you guys will be like, wow, you were so high. And then I wrote dry, dot, 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 green, dot, greener, thirsty. I took that cinematic portion as, like, I know this sounds crazy, but like I took it as I really do need to like drink more water. I don't like water. I really struggle to drink water. And lately, if you follow me on Meet Everly Joe, I talk a lot about how I've been like growing plants lately and herbs. And I have like a tomato that just turned red, and it's like the best feeling in the world. And in one of the like movies that played in my brain, it was like all this greenery, and then all the greenery kind of went like gray and dry. And I literally thought to myself, I was like, somebody water these plants. Like, and you're probably thinking, wow, you were just high as a kite and like you were taking things from your mind. Like, sure, of course. Like who knows what the freak our brains do, like when we're in that state. But just me seeing that and literally me being like, I want all of these freaking plants. I want every cell in my body. I want every single hair on my head to be nourished and to grow. That was like a really cool lesson for me, because I'm like, okay, like that reiterates that I just need to try harder to be hydrated, you know? Wow, that sounds so cuckoo. I know, you guys, I know. Okay, so then I wrote Black Panther armor, textures. So again, that played a part in it again. Oh, this part's interesting. So say like in one of the visions that I was seeing, I was on a Black Panther ship that was like soaring through the sky or something. In the last couple visions I saw, so I was looking, and in the last time side to side, I kind of remember being in Lake Powell, and I remember like looking at the rocks, but like I'm not like soaring in the sky, like looking floating north. I was looking in west, both of the experiences. The last two times, I'm looking sideways, and I'm. But I wrote looking at team, side not to side, and always looking side by side, watching their work from the same room. And then I wrote, catching them if they fall, pick up their slack. See, and I'm like reading this and I'm like, yeah, that's totally how it was. And back to the whole machine thing, I feel like I'm in charge of the machines. When I talk about like the Legos and the everything, this time around felt more like a conveyor belt. And like I remember thinking like, oh, that looks kind of messy, and like I should clean that up, because each one of those things needs to be perfect, and each one of those machines aren't the same. They're all different. And like I literally felt I was like them being on this conveyor belt and passing me felt like so not uncomfortable, because I was never uncomfortable the entire time. But I remember like noticing like those things are not right. Like they are not right. The things that are passing me are not right. And that like bugged me. Like I wanted in there to like fix them. If you guys know this about me, I'm a huge like, I love puzzles. I love games. I love brain busters. I love things to like stretch my brain. And so that's kind of how it was. Like it was like, whoa, like look at this conveyor belt that goes on in the billions. And I just want in there to like fix all these machines that are kind of a mess right now. And then jumping back over to the whole in a spaceship Black Panther shiz, yeah, I was just watching my teammates, and maybe that meant I was like the boss, or like I didn't feel necessarily the boss, even though on the page prior I wrote I felt more authoritative, if that's a word. So like maybe, sure, but like I didn't feel like I was like yelling at anybody or micromanaging. I actually freaking hate that about like bosses that I've worked for previously. But I did feel like I had a lot of like pressure to make sure that everything was lining up the way it needed to. Very interesting. I should go see my therapist about this. I have an appointment with him next week. But I don't know, guys. Like, again, if I'm laying there and tripping balls for an hour and that medicine is healing my brain, go read up on the studies on ketamine. If that's all it does is it's healing the depression part in my brain, if I don't come out of it with like all the answers to the universe or some profound thing that I saw or felt while under the influence, I'm totally okay with that. Like legit, like I am so okay with that. I'm not going in there being like, but like, is God real? Like, where is he? And can I see him? And like, it's not like that at all. It's like, it's basically just like a cinematic movie coming in and out of your eyesight. I can't even explain it. It's wild. It's wild. And if you're interested in it, I recommend it for freaking anybody who's had trauma. And that's all of us. So you're welcome. But I do recommend it for people, just to see if it gives you like some comfort in anything that you feel like you might be carrying. So that's that. Not too wild, but you never know. I'm going to keep documenting all the different sessions, and if anything crazy happens, you guys will be the first to know. You're probably all sitting there being like, yeah, this is all crazy. This is all freaking crazy. I know, guys, it's a drug. Like, it's a hallucinogen drug. Like, I literally am shot up with the drug, and then my brain sees things in my eyeballs. Like, it's crazy, but I do believe that it is helping my depression. I do. I talked about that on the last episode. I do feel like I said, if it's placebo, high fives. That's freaking great. But I just feel lighter and happier and goofier and like less short with my boys when I'm, mothering, and I feel less ornery of a wife, and I just feel lighter. I don't know. So hopefully it's working. If you have any questions, let me know. I'm happy to address them. Please like and subscribe. If you're so sick of hearing people say that when you listen to podcasts, just know that that's like it's just a thing. It really does just help us with our time and energy. I think I said on the last episode that it maybe makes us like 10 cents or something per download. So like, it's not crazy, but it does help us. It helps me pay my amazing producer, Rachel, who edits all of this. And I literally put her to work. So thank you, Rachel. You're the best. And again, thank you for listening. And just remember, it's okay to feel all your feelings, and it's okay to be happy and sad at the same time, because I'm basically a professional at that. So thank you again, and have a good day. Bye.